There's a really big difference about your past being a part of you and your past controlling you. I would never admit that that person hurt me and I don't want to give them that power. I should be over this, and I thought I was over this, but I'm not. A lot of people don't want to face themselves like that, and instead of confronting my emotions, I want to go smoke or I want to go drink instead. You don't want to feel bad, you don't want to feel scared, you don't want to feel weak, and you will. The truth about healing. Let's talk about it. I want to talk about what healing is, because for a very long time, I didn't understand what healing was. I thought healing was being okay with what happened to you in the past, or just accepting it and moving on, or healing was forgiving the people who hurt me, which is not true. Healing, at the very end of the day, is not letting your past control who you are now. Healing is basically trying to understand why you are the way you are, trying to understand why you think certain things, trying to understand your patterns, because everybody has them, trying to understand why you have commitment issues, avoidance issues, abandonment issues. You're peeling back layers of your life, going back to big traumatic events in your life, and trying to pinpoint what changed in your brain and how that's affected you and how you can change it. There's a really big difference about your past being a part of you and your past controlling you. And for a while, my past was controlling me. Until I decided to make the conscious decision to heal, I was letting it control me because I did not care. Healing is a conscious decision that you make every single day. So if you're not in a place to heal, you're not going to. That is something that I do want to talk about. It is okay to not be ready to address and confront hard feelings. Everybody heals in their own time. Some people decide not to heal at all, and you can see that by their parenting. Everyone has a time, all right? The reason why I chose to heal is because I've realized the older I get, the more it's affecting my relationships and other people, and I don't want to hurt people. I feel like a lot of people think that healing is a lot about self-love and routines and manifesting or affirmations or journaling or gratitude lists, and those things do play a big part in healing, but I will say that if you are not careful, those things will start to become a distraction instead of actually healing. There's a difference between actually being productive and feeling productive. You might wake up and make your bed in the morning, but if you got things to do for work on your computer and you're not doing them, you might feel productive, but are you actually productive? Because you got a whole bunch of other stuff that you have to deal with and you're not. That's how I kind of view all of those little YouTube, TikTok, or influencers about healing, because they make it so just getting in touch with your soul and spirit. Girl, it's work. Healing is hard and people do not talk about it, and it pisses me off because that part of healing is such a big part. And once you talk about the hard part, it's not going to feel so hard. All right, so now that I got that out of the way, how to heal. Healing is different for everybody. Really, the basics of healing is psychology. I started therapy last year, and that's when my healing journey actually really became a lot simpler for me, because I had a therapist. I was really grateful that I got to have one. Therapy is just getting a psychology standpoint to why you are the way you are. But if you really, really want to put in the work, you can research all that shit on YouTube, on Google. Even though I love therapy and I think that everybody should try it, but it's very possible to heal without therapy. And if you think that you can't heal because you're not seeing a therapist, that's not true at all. In order to heal, you have to be open to feeling every single emotion that you've held back. And in time, those feelings will come when you're open to them. And when negative feelings arise, healing is really letting yourself sit there with that negative feeling instead of distracting yourself from it. The truth about healing is that it's hard. Confronting feelings and emotions, especially things that make you feel weak, you wouldn't want to feel any of those emotions. And the reason why healing is hard is because you have to feel those emotions. Feeling those feelings made me feel weak. It made me feel vulnerable. It made me feel out of control, because and able to make myself feel safe and in control of my feelings and of my brain, I didn't feel emotions. That was safe for me, not feeling emotions, not expressing emotions, not telling people how I am. That was safe. And so when I started to feel all these uncomfortable emotions, the first emotion that I felt was fear, because I was uncomfortable, because I was finally feeling all these things that I have refused to deal with, and you feel weak. I hated it, and it sucked. And when you're so used to shoving things out of your brain or not dealing with things or distracting yourself from hurting, finally feeling all that stuff is a huge change, and it's a huge switch. So obviously it would be scary, and obviously I would feel shame or disgust with even feeling feelings, because I'm not used to feeling emotion the way that I should, because I just push that shit down instead of dealing with it. But yeah, the first thing that I really felt was just fear and weak. I just felt like a bitch, to be honest. But how I got to that place of even letting myself feel those emotions is you have to ask yourself a question in your healing journey. And that question is, what have I done to get in the way of my own healing? And what I've been doing to get in the way of my own healing, or what I was doing to get in the way of healing, or to just completely avoid healing, is I was distracting myself for years. Friendships, with relationships, with drinking, with literally anything I could think of. I was finding temporary fixes for permanent problems. And I had to be honest with myself about what I was doing. When you open this door, it almost feels the complete opposite of healing. You feel 10 times worse because you're like, what the heck is this? This thing that happened to me when I was a little kid, I'm still not over. And for me, that's how I was thinking for a really long time. Like, I should be over this. And I thought I was over this, but I'm not, because I'm crying about it right now. I was mad at myself. I really was, because I'm like, you should be over this by now, because time has passed. It gets worse before it gets better, because you're finally opening yourself to all these things that you don't want. You don't want to feel bad. You don't want to feel scared. You don't want to feel weak, and you will, and it hurts. There's this quote, and everybody's heard it. Time heals all wounds. Time really only numbs out the feelings that you have. And time can't heal wounds, because if you don't put the work in, time's not going to do anything except make you believe that you don't have any wounds. It's kind of like having a broken leg and never addressing that broken leg. As time goes on and you never fix your broken leg, you eventually start to learn how to live with that broken leg. You start to learn how to kind of limp instead of walk or run. You know how to limp, you kind of know how to walk, so it's fine. You learn how to live with the discomfort. You learn how to live with the pain. You learn how to live with the hurt. Time just forces you to learn how to live with your shit if you don't deal with it. So when people say that, it makes me roll my eyes, because, girl, I'm 19 years old and I'm still trying to heal from things that have happened to me when I was like 9. When I was going through my healing journey, you have to drop your ego, because you can't heal if you have a big ego. You can't grow if you have a big ego. You completely have to drop all of that, and you have to be brutally honest with yourself. And that's also another part of healing that really sucks. You have to be brutally honest how you've got in the way of your own healing, and how that's affected you, and how that's affected other people. You have to be very bluntly honest with yourself, and if you can't do that, then you won't be able to heal. That's hard for people, and a lot of people don't want to face themselves like that. And for the people who do, I really respect y'all, because it's hard, because I'm really going through that right now. But there's a new awareness that comes with healing, because there has to be. When that new awareness is in your brain of like, okay, this is why I am the way I am. This is why I want to change. This is how I'm going to get there. Things will start to fall together. But those feelings and those emotions of wanting to go back, of instead of confronting my emotions, I want to go smoke, or I want to go drink instead. That constant battle between yourself is tiring. It's so tiring, because one part of you wants to heal. You're sick and tired of being who you are. You want to be different. You want to change. You want to be better. And then there's this other part of you, first part of you, that didn't care about healing and who you were before you wanted to heal. There's that part of you. So there's two sides of you telling you what you want, and it's really, really tiring, because it's like an inner battle with yourself. And that sounds dramatic as fuck, but that is the truth. You know what you want. You want to heal, you want to change, but the other part of you doesn't care, because why should I care? Anytime I start thinking like that, I always remind myself, like, you've come this far with your healing journey and actually putting in the work. Why would you want to throw it all away because you don't want to face your feelings? You face your feelings once, twice, 3 times. You can do it again for a 4th, 5th, and 6th. You've done the hard work. You can do it again. I also remind myself of like how I was feeling before I started to want to heal. I didn't care. I literally have in my journal somewhere about me talking about how I don't care about healing and how I think change is stupid because nothing matters at the end of the day. I always knew that I was avoiding feelings and avoiding topics and avoiding things in my brain, but I never really cared. I was in a constant cycle of bad habits and self-sabotaging because I was afraid of being vulnerable, and I was afraid of being open with people. I was afraid of feeling weak. So instead of feeling weak, I used to pretend nothing hurt me and nothing could faze me. I didn't need anybody. And now I'm literally still, to this day, still trying to undo those wires in my brain and trying to rewire them, because that's not true. Because I am hurt and I am human and I do have feelings and things do hurt me and it's okay to be hurt. But for so long in my brain, being hurt was, if you cry, you're weak. If you're hurt by it, you're weak. Or, wow, you're really gonna let that person hurt you? You're weak. It was almost embarrassing for me to be hurt by another person. Even when that person really did something fucked up to me or towards me, it was still like, I would never admit that that person hurt me because, and I don't want to give them that power, but girl, I'm human. And so I always remind myself, you don't want to go back to like what your thought process was when you were like 16. Like, girl, you hated yourself. And you're finally like making steps to change and be better. So be proud of yourself. And I'm talking to me and I'm also talking to you. Like, the reason why I was struggling so bad going back and forth in my brain is because when you decide to heal, you're out of your comfort zone. Being in your comfort zone is something that gives you peace. You're in control. Like, you know it. I was uncomfortable healing. And I was so comfortable in staying in my rut and in my old like mental space. That's what felt safe to me. Even though it wasn't good for me, it felt safe for me because that's what I knew my whole entire life. Because it's just easier. Because that is what I know. Like, not caring and like pretending like I'm not hurt or pretending like things don't bother me or pretending that things aren't there. That is what I'm used to. And so when we have this other voice in my head that's trying to make me do better and heal, I hated it. Because I'm like, I'm just uncomfortable. This isn't who I am. But that's what change is. That's what growth is. It's just forcing yourself to keep on keeping on. Healing is so much. It's rewiring your brain. It's confronting hard emotions, learning why you are the way you are, but it's also being patient with yourself, forgiving yourself for not wanting to heal sooner, forgiving yourself for self-sabotaging, for hurting other people. It's being patient with yourself. It's loving yourself through everything that you've been through, everything that you've done. It's so much, and you have to have that compassion on yourself. Because I hated myself, because I was like, I was just mad, and it made me feel really bad about myself because I was realizing all of this stuff about me, the good, bad, and ugly, and I was like, I hate myself. I hated myself. Being completely honest, I feel like I let myself down. I feel like I let other people down, but I feel like I let myself down. Everything in my heart wants to be the best version of me, but I'm the reason why I'm not. And I think I'm still trying to learn how to love myself through those ruts because yeah, girl, I still have those ruts. And I'm still going through the process of healing. And I'm still trying to learn how to be patient with myself. And also I'm still trying to learn how to push myself when I know I need to be pushed. It's a process, and healing will always be a process. And that's okay. Life is so much better when you see through it in a different lens. Now I'm doing better in my relationships. I'm maneuvering better with confrontations. I'm confronting shit when I feel it. I'm not avoiding it and smoking or drinking anytime I feel sad or like mad or angry. I'm learning how to cope. I'm learning how to express my anger in a healthy way. I'm learning how to express my emotions in a healthy way. And I'm learning how to communicate those emotions, and it's so worth it because the peace that you feel, it's like this huge burden that's finally off, and you can feel it because you've done the work to get it off, and it's really just beautiful. And healing is really hard, but it's also so worth it, and it's so beautiful because it's a journey. The confidence that you're gonna get from just healing in general is you've gone through shit and you've dealt with it, and that comes with a level of strength. And because of that strength, you'll feel so much more confident and comfortable in who you are, and you'll kind of find who you are again, one step at a time. One step at a time. The peace that you'll feel, it's worth the pain.